Hello, and again, welcome to Bit Depth. I'm Santiago Ramones, and I'm sitting here with Jordan Brannon. Jordan and I know each other since like 6th grade in middle school. Hi, Jordan.
Hello.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, like you said, I'm Jordan Brannon. I am currently a student at Oklahoma State University. I'm in my junior year, and I'm studying cell molecular biology.
Oh,
and that's me right now.
So have you lived in Oklahoma all your life?
Yeah.
But like you travel a lot.
I do. I haven't traveled out of the country recently, but been to lots of places, lots of the world.
When did you start traveling?
The very first time I left the country was when I was 18 months old.
Holy crap.
Yeah, went down the Amazon, 18 months old. Swam in the Amazon, 18 months old.
Did you get one of those little like dick parasites?
Oh no. I was very careful about that.
You were, or your parents were, because at 18 months you can't really.
I guess that's very. I like to think I was very careful.
I do remember that you were conceived out of the United States.
That is what has been said, what I've been told. Yeah. My parents went down to Guatemala, I think it was for just a vacation, and conceived in Antigua, Guatemala. Of all the places to be conceived, it's not that bad.
Okay. Well,
so, I mean,
was it like a decent hotel or whatever?
I have no idea what hotel was at, but I mean...
Okay, so... I guess we know each other from middle school.
Yeah.
But that was like the homeroom class in middle school. But I guess we actually like really got together through band and marching band, at least in middle school.
Oh yeah.
What do you play?
I play the bassoon and the saxophone.
And you've been doing that for a while. So what was it that you did for the first few semesters of college?
The first few semesters I decided to go the pre-medicine and music route, where I basically get my BA in music, and I take all my elective classes are pre-med classes.
Oh gosh!
And that was a hell of that was awful. It was absolutely awful.
Well, yeah, I mean, knowing a little bit about being a music major for 2 years, or at least a classical music major for 2 years, you have a certain amount of classes that you should take in general, and then there's like the amount of classes extra that they're like, if you don't take these more classes, you won't actually graduate in time.
Right.
And then you had a second major on top of that, so like...
And actually by the end of it, I kind of had 2.5, because I was also doing a minor in chemistry. Mm-hmm. So... I had all the responsibilities of being a music major, taking all the classes. Granted, some of them were abbreviated. But I mean, it was pretty much the whole entire BA music load, along with pretty much the cell molecular biology class load.
Oh, gosh.
So I was taking a minimum of 18 hours a semester. That's on top of all the rehearsals and a couple classes I didn't even get credit for.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah. Recital attendance is the worst.
Right. I hated that.
I mean... I kind of liked it because I got to fall asleep during like those really long piano solos that all the Asian foreign exchange students did.
Just like our school. Yeah.
And so you've since like changed out of that, or are you still doing music?
I've actually dropped it. I've dropped the whole music thing. I'm playing bassoon just in the studio, so it's just for fun now. It's a lot less stressful. And I tell all my friends that are thinking about getting out of music and going to something else, I tell them that it was honestly one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. The stress just comes off. It's magical.
Well, I mean,
But I mean, for those that want to do music, stay with it. You push through it, do it. For those that are questioning whether they want to do it or not, most likely you don't want to do it.
Yeah.
So go ahead and take that leap. Try something new.
I mean, as far as like, it's hard to decide between doing something with like performance or education, which is like the basic ones. And there's also like theater, but as far as instrumental goes, why would, this isn't even for you, but like, why would anyone pick performance?
I really don't know. It's one of the more popular music majors out there. I really honestly don't know. I mean, some people just love to play and they don't want to, they're either really bad at teaching or they just hate kids. So they decide that they're better off just playing and traveling around doing what they love. But I really don't know.
Yeah, because what seems to happen is that once their performance career ends, it seems that you have to like fall back on teaching or just make sure that you made enough money while you were performing to retire off of it.
And with the way today is, that's next to impossible. So, yeah.
And so, what, you were just like a general music major?
I was BA Music Performance with bassoon. So I would have had to do recitals, all that stuff.
Yeah. Okay, so now you're doing, oh gosh, cell molecular
biology.
Okay.
Right.
It's like a weird combination of words that a stupid person like me would be like, I don't know what that means. So what does that mean?
I was going to say, well, that's fine because most of us don't even really know what it means. So the way it's kind of set up is you take cell biology, you take molecular biology. The major just combines the two together, cell molecular biology. Cell biology is just looking at how the cell works, looking at how the mitochondria works, how energy is made, how cells divide.
The powerhouse of the cell.
Right, the powers of the cell. I actually have it in some of my flashcards right now.
There you go.
That never leaves and never changes. There's always the powers of the cell. So that's the cell biology aspect of it. The molecular biology aspect of it is it's kind of looking at how everything works, like looking at how you go from the nucleotide coding in DNA and how that then gets transcribed to RNA, and then from RNA to proteins, and from proteins to larger molecules, and you just build up and up and up and up. And it's looking at how all of that works together and combines, and how you have life, really. So
you're studying basically the stepping stone between what was just like, I guess, just rocks and chemicals, and the bridge between that and like biology and what became life.
Pretty much.
Which I think is super awesome because, like, looking back at the line of evolution of the universe or whatever, and seeing like, all right, so here's just a whole bunch of elements and stuff. And then eventually they just like clump together, and then eventually more of them clump together, and then ooze?
Ooze, slime. Yeah, I mean, I think of everything as the very beginning of everything is just kind of like a life soup.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really what it was. You had a broth, and you had a couple of ingredients, and then from there everything just got more complicated, more complex, mixed, and then poof, voila, magic. Yeah, you have life.
Okay. And so, what brought you to that specifically?
To that major?
Yeah. Well, to be interested just in that in general.
Well, I live in a family where biology and science is it's pretty centric. It's all the men in my family except for one are doctors, and the other one is a computer scientist. So science doesn't. I don't fall far from the tree, and so. Based on all the medicine and everything that goes on in my family, that really inspired me to get into biology because I think it's incredibly interesting. So that's what really got me there. And then on top of going overseas and seeing people help treat people with medical teams, that was a really galvanizing thing that pushed me into what I'm doing now.
Yeah. And so what is your end game here? What is your goal as a career or whatever? Do you want to be a doctor? Do you want to be a research scientist or what?
Right now, I'm definitely going to go the doctor route, but whether I want to be a doctor or a doctor, MD, PhD, I'm not really sure of right now. The more I'm doing labs and science and undergrad right now, the more I'm liking research. So I definitely want to go to med school, and I definitely want to get the MD, and I guess through med school I'll decide whether I want to go into research or if I want to stick with the MD and go to the clinical side. But I think as of right now, I'm probably going more towards the clinical side. I find radiology pretty interesting, and just the whole clinical aspect in general.
Yeah. Radiology, like, again, I'm stupid and don't know about medical things, but like cancer treatments, I'm guessing.
That's an aspect. Okay. It's actually, I think it's a part of oncology. Okay. But what I've been thinking of is, as a radiology, it's like looking at CT scans, MRI scans, PET scans. Okay. And I specifically find interventional radiology really interesting, where you're pretty much doing surgery on a small level, where you're using MRI, CT, X-ray, that kind of stuff, to guide catheters through veins in order to repair things. So specifically what I think is interesting is interventional neuroradiology, where you use a MRI scanner or a PET scan and you look at the brain in real time and you slide catheters in veins and arteries to repair anything from like strokes to, anything that's wrong in the brain, really. Yeah.
It sounds like magical, really. Like
it does.
Whenever you can say that, like, we just look at someone's brain in real time. We slide a thingy in there and poke the thing out or suck it out or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what do you think the technology is going to go from there? Are we still going to continue using like catheters and sliding them in by hand, or are we just gonna like straight up nanobots are just gonna run in there or whatever?
Yeah, I really don't know. The nanobot thing it's incredibly exciting to me, but that has a while to go. Yeah. Lots of R&D still left. I think my perfect medicine world would be where doctors really aren't needed. You have the whole Elysium type scanner thing where you go in there, scans, healthy, and you get out. But yeah,
it's kind of funny though that like, and almost everything too, that like there's like this ideal place where you want stuff to lead because you're interested in it, but if it leads there, it also means that you're out of a job.
Right. And I think it's kind of one of the sacrifices that doctors have to make. Yeah. It's knowing that you can step away, that you can let your innovation take care of things. That once the human aspect is gone, you can just let it be gone.
Okay, and so I'm trying to think. What about your view on people and like who are you trying to help, I guess?
I mean, as a doctor, I want to say I want to help everybody. And that is my goal, is to help everybody. Anybody that walks through my doors, I want to help. But I really like helping people overseas. Here in the United States, most people have fairly easy access to health care. I mean, granted, you might lose all your money for that health care,
but you will live.
But you will live. Overseas, most people don't have that kind of, they don't have access to that.
Yeah.
They can't. So I really like going overseas and helping those that can't help themselves.
Yeah. And what that also means is that you don't have all the same resources that you would in the United States.
Exactly.
And so while you might get like, oh, cool, we have this like $1 million or so MRI scanner or whatever, it's like we have...
You have a potato.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's it's a challenge, and it's also interesting because whenever you're overseas, you make do with what you have. And I think that leads to innovation. It leads to imagination.
You get to do some guerrilla doctoring.
Right. And I think it's just completely fascinating that you're able to do many of the same things you can do at home with tens of millions of dollars, like machines that are just ridiculously expensive. You can do overseas with your hands, scalpel, and a really good doctor.
Yeah. How would you be preparing for that in school?
Well,
just not.
I mean, I like to think that med school would teach me how to do something like that. But I know that with some med schools, you have elective hours you can take. And for some of those, it's kind of like rural medicine, where you're kind of shoved in the same situation where you have very little access to certain necessities. So you make do with what you have. So I can hopefully take maybe some of those electives.
Yeah.
But no, nothing really beats going out there into the world and doing it yourself.
Okay. I think this is a good bridge to go into the second part of... So, you know that as a doctor, you're going to lose some patients.
Exactly, yeah.
How do you... I mean, obviously, you're a student and everything, and so you haven't had to deal with that yet. But how do you know how to deal with that eventually?
I mean, that's something I ask myself all the time, and I don't think I really know how I'm going to deal with it until it actually happens. Because there's grief counseling and stuff in med school. They teach you what to do, like how to tell a family that their loved one has died. They teach you how to do that. But what they don't teach you is how you're going to respond to it.
Yeah.
And I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to respond to it, but I like to think that it sounds almost inhumane, but I mean, you win some and you lose some. And that's just what medicine is. It's not from a lack of trying that it happens. It's just the way that life is.
Maybe at some point you just have to zoom out and be like, well... It's a little bit bigger than that.
Exactly. And I mean, my dad has to deal with those kinds of problems all the times. I remember back when I was in middle school, when he was in the inpatient side of his clinic, there were many nights where he would have to leave home to go sign death certificates. And I mean, it's rough. It's rough for him. It's rough for the family. And these patients he's known for since they were born. And granted, many of them do pass well before they're 2 or 3 years old, but some of them end up living until they're 15 or 16 and then they pass. So, I mean, he gets to know the patients, and once you build that bridge with those patients, it's really hard to lose them. But with the kind of medicine I'm interested in, I mean, I hate to say that it'll be easier for me to let patients go, but I won't have that kind of a string attached to my patients.
You wouldn't have as much time to really get attached to them either.
Right.
Okay, so, alright, well, hold on. Okay, and so that kind of leads me to this next part, which is, so the value of a life is a lot to you, obviously, since you want to be a doctor. Right. And so how does that connect to what you believe, or what your beliefs are?
My beliefs right now are pretty convoluted and confused. There's a lot I'm trying to figure out. With my whole undergraduate career, I've really started to question things. Up until I started college, I've been told things, told to do this, told to do that, told to believe this. Now that I'm in college, I'm kind of on my own. I now have the freedom to start thinking for myself. And since then, I mean, I've always been raised a Christian. I live in a Christian household. But since then, I've really kind of begun to question Christianity, look at it from different points of view, and compare things with science, with things I know that are fact, and see how it holds up. So with that, things are a little bit confused. But I don't think it affects my ability to say that a life matters. A life matters no matter what religion you believe in. Life is something that's sacred and should be held above everything else. Yeah. And I mean, I think that's one of my core beliefs, is just that life matters Let's not take it for granted.
Yeah.
You don't need to believe in a God to believe in that.
Yeah. And so, in a way, I feel that almost makes it more important what you're doing. Kind of a lack of knowing what's next after, let's say, a patient dies or after you die, kind of makes it to where you have to work harder to save these patients' lives because, as far as we know, this is all we have.
Right.
And so, what are some of like the things that you've been stumbling across in your scientific studies that conflict very heavily with what you've been told all your life?
I mean, I think the biggest thing for me is just the fact that whenever you read the Bible, the Bible from start is said to have happened 40,000 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's impossible. The Earth could not have started 40,000 years ago.
Yeah.
And to make that argument that the Earth is that young, it's ridiculous. And I think that's one of the biggest things right now that I'm just trying to figure out. And people say that, well, it's not literal. That the Earth, even though it was everything was created in 7 days, those 7 days could have been millenniums.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm really struggling with is trying to justify or trying to say that the Earth is 40,000 years old or maybe a little bit older in comparison to biology, what we know. And it's not right.
Well, I mean, I guess to get a little bit more background on it, like, were you raised to believe like very conservative Christian things, like the world is 40,000 years old, or like, or were you was your family a little bit more loose about it?
They were definitely a little bit more loose about it. I mean, I haven't been raised strict 40,000 years old. It's just when people make that argument that's Christianity, that's an immediate turnoff for me. That's not Christianity. It's false. There's no possible way.
And I do think that it's very hard to hold on to a lot of the things in Christianity, especially seeing how smart you are, seeing how smart everyone in your family is. That if you do come from like a long line of doctors and scientists, that I'm kind of amazed that it's still going in a way.
I kind of am too sometimes, but I mean, they've figured out ways to justify it, and more to them. I mean, I wish maybe I could do that, to figure out some way to justify some of the inaccuracies in Christianity and the Bible and make sense of them to point me in the right direction towards religion. But I mean, as I'm questioning things and reading things, it's just more difficult for me now.
Yeah.
I just don't really know. And like another thing that I just really can't get my head around is the whole Noah and the Ark.
Yeah.
That to say that two of every animal were on an ark, everything else was wiped out.
Yeah.
That does not coincide with anything we have in biology. There's no possible way you could have the diversity on life, or the diversity of life on Earth had that happened. There would be these awkward mutants to begin with.
Yeah.
I mean, you pretty much have the gene pool of Arkansas cousins coming out of that.
Well,
so
who's to say that, I mean, we're all not mutants now? It's like,
I mean, from a biological standpoint, we are all mutants.
Yeah.
We're becoming more mutant every day.
Yeah. But I mean, maybe we don't see it because this is like the point that we're at. Like if you zoom out a lot larger, like you see that like, oh, this is obviously the stepping stone in between.
Right.
But yeah, to have as much complexity that there is in organisms nowadays, a couple of years ago was like a debate between Ken Ham and Bill Nye, and I had never actually heard the very conservative Christian points of view of like, well, look how Noah's Ark is true because there's like a point in evolution here where everything like the tree expanded or whatever, and I couldn't see it.
Right.
No, I mean, as far as that goes, you're more questioning on like a biological scientific perspective, or are you also like kind of morally questioning, or are you still kind of on board in those terms?
Morally, I'm kind of on board. Every day it's a little bit less and less, to be quite honest with you. Especially with the political debates that have been going on this year. I mean, I don't like to get into politics, but...
We don't need to get into politics, and I don't want to get into politics.
But I mean, it's these political debates have really hit me hard on whether I can be a Christian or at least stand for what many Christians are standing for.
Yeah. But I mean, as far as like morally goes, I mean, I still find that a lot of stuff in the Bible is really great to uphold. Yeah. Particularly the New Testament, mostly. But I mean, how knowing as much as you do, and connecting between science and then like morality, do you still bridge those gaps between like, I mean, obviously you're more of a progressive person, like, let's just start with like gay people.
Right. I love them.
Yeah. And so there is like a biological and scientific reason for all of that.
Yeah.
But where does that take you? So do you just like Christianity and morally and all of that?
I mean, first off, that the fact that gay people are said to be lesser than straight people, that's another thing that I can't get on board with Christianity either. But morals and science, I think, are two completely separate things. Science knows no morals. It has no morality. Science is just science. The advent of chlorine gas or mustard gas used in World War I was not inherently bad. It's just chemistry. It's mustard gas. It's the way you use it. It's the way you apply science that defines morality. So
I have a book to recommend to you. But
so everything that I think of with science, it's a how you apply the science is what makes it either moral or moral. But science on its own knows no morality. Science is just science.
And so how do you make the leap in between the two?
That's a good question. I really don't know. I just look at how it's applied, look at how I use science, and I hate to say that I have like two separate sides, a scientific side and a moral side, but I guess I could say that I use I have a moral compass, I guess, and that's how I make my decisions in life. And my scientific compass really doesn't play much into that. It's what I hold true to myself is what makes my decisions, how I define myself as either moral or immoral. So science for me doesn't really play into my morality. I'm sure that as I progress through my studies, science probably will play more into my beliefs and everything. But as of right now, I like to think of them as kind of separate. So, but yeah.
Do you still go to church?
I do. Most Sunday, well, depends during the semester. It depends on how much homework I have.
Yeah.
But I do go to church, and sometimes it's difficult for me to sit there and listen to what many of the people are saying. Particularly earlier this summer, whenever I went to church with my grandparents, and some of the congregation, even some of the pastors, were very upset about the marriage equality.
Yeah.
I found that very difficult to sit through. To hear them try to justify their beliefs, which... I mean,
their bigotry, even.
Yeah. And that's hard to listen to, and it really, really hurts my ability to appeal towards Christianity, to consider myself a Christian.
How do you... I mean, do you talk to them about it, or you just, like, shut up about it?
The problem is with many of them, you talk to them about it, and it turns into I don't want to say a fist fight, but it turns into a pretty nice verbal fight. And it's not worth it because they won't change their mind. There isn't changing their mind. These are people that have had these steadfast beliefs for the past 60 years. They're not going to change them.
I personally disagree, but that's for a different discussion. And so how do you just like sit and wait until the discussion blows over and just, because like you can only sit and wait for so long.
That's correct. Yeah. Lately I've really been closely listening to what they have to say. And especially when they put up passages out of the Bible, I closely analyze them and see how those coincide with my moral compass and how those coincide with, I guess, how it checks out with my science. But other than that, sometimes there's just lots of sitting and waiting.
Yeah. Have you talked to like your parents about it, or talked to?
I've talked to some friends about it, but I'm definitely not ready to tell my parents as of yet. Not getting political or anything, but coming out to them and saying that I do support Bernie Sanders. That was pretty rough. It was shot down pretty hard, and it's still almost every day. It's kind of like we should have raised you better. You're a socialist now. Where have we gone wrong?
Oh, okay.
So it's as of right now, would be extraordinarily difficult to even say that I'm remotely questioning Christianity, which I think I am doing. I haven't fully come on out and say that I'm completely against Christianity, that I'm an atheist. I really don't believe in a religion as of right now. But even to come out as questioning would be an issue.
And it's interesting to there's a weird like break in the brain between people who, on one hand, like scientifically question everything because all these things have to be questioned, like progress is made via science and everything is rigorously tested until you arrive on the right answer, and then once that right answer doesn't seem to be as right anymore, you change that.
Right.
And then just taking a step away from that and going, but you can't ask questions here. These are the things that we hold over here, and you can't ask questions there.
And that's where I think one of my biggest problems with Christianity lies, is that Christianity doesn't change. It's stagnant. But with science, we at one point thought that the Earth was the center of the universe.
Yeah.
We then expanded upon that, and then some of us thought that, okay, it's not the center of the universe, but it's the center of the solar system.
Yeah.
Expand upon that. No, the sun is actually the center of our solar system. And that's what I love about science, is that science is questioning. It's coming up with questions and then developing answers. And you examine those answers.
It never assumes that it's completely right.
Exactly. And after you come to those answers, you then evaluate those answers. You question those answers with some of those very same questions you use to start out to get that answer. So there's a back and forth between it. And then, of course, you're probably going to come with instances where that's not correct. When Newton's laws, once you get to light speed, everything just goes out the window. Nothing applies anymore. Yeah. You get into Einstein and, relativity and stuff like that. But that's what I love about science, that science morphs, science changes, science is progress. Science is never flat.
Yeah, in the same way that we as humans, or as biological organisms, have always just evolved and adapted in the same way science does so too. And to sort of sit against, or keep hitting this wall upon something that, I guess what I'm getting from you is more that you're feeling more that the truth claims of the Bible are difficult to uphold, but your morality still stands.
Yeah, definitely the truths in the Bible, they definitely trouble me. But, lots of the morality that comes from the Bible, I think still upholds. I mean, there are things that I don't think are very moral. They're more unethical than anything.
Yeah.
But there are some things in there that I think still hold to be moral. But like I kind of said, you don't need a religion to be moral. You just need to be a person to be moral. You need to look at the world, examine it to be moral.
Yeah.
And that's where I think some of our problems lie here in the world, is that we also need to take a step back, look at the world, develop our morals off that. Then come back, maybe double check it with whatever religion you decide to believe in. Look at it through that way. Develop your own morals, then maybe either adopt some, maybe change some. Do whatever you think is best for yourself. But what creates the least amount of stress upon yourself.
Yeah. And so how does this belief sort of affect your behavior? You know, it's one thing to still hold still believe the morals of the Bible, but still sort of still hold the science that just comes from the world around you. How does that affect your behavior and how you act towards others and so on?
I mean, I don't like to think my behavior has changed much since starting science or starting to question religion. But I like to think that I might have changed some. I know I'm more open now than I was, say, in high school. I'm much more open to things. High school, I was borderline racist, really, to be quite honest with you, and borderline homophobic. Yeah. But now that I've seen more of the world, but I've examined more of the world, I know that I can't hold those beliefs to be true or to be moral. It's just not right. Especially when you have these human beings looking right back at you and you're like, I like this person. Exactly. And that's what I find incredibly difficult and incredibly frustrating about many people now. Yeah. It's like, you just need to examine humans. Look at humans. Be a human. Interact. And you'll be a better person. You won't have these prejudices anymore. Mm-hmm. You just need to take time out and look at people, be with people. Yeah. And so, in a way, having a Christian belief has made you at least try your best to love other people. Right. But then having more of a scientific grounding has allowed you to expand upon who are these people that I'm supposed to love. Right. It's kind of weird when you start to think about it, because I try my hardest to love everyone, but at the same time also looking at everyone like we're all one and the same too. Mm-hmm. We're all the same chemical mess. We all operate nearly the same way, and it's kind of weird that on a biological level we're all the same, yet here we are being humans, and how entirely different we are, how entirely different we think and act and behave. But at the base of everything, on our chemical formula, we're all the same. And I find it incredibly fascinating. So I find this to be a bridging point in between the moral and the scientific, because knowing that we are kind of just a whole bunch of chemicals, right? And that's how the brain and like your whole body interacts with everything. Where does that go into like your behavior and how you act towards people? And ultimately, do we even have free will? That's a $1 million question right there. Whether we have free will or not. Yeah, I really don't know. And to kind of segue a little bit, I don't know if you've heard of it. It's a play called The Last Days of Judas Iscariot. Maybe. It's a fairly modern play. I can't pronounce the playwright's name. It's like Gerges or something like that. And it examines through a series of... through a trial, it kind of determines whether Judas was guilty or innocent, or whether he should go to heaven or hell with betraying Jesus. And one of the questions I brought up was whether Judas was predestined, whether he had free will with what he was doing. And I kind of think it applies to people. Like, do we have our own free will, or are we predestined? And that's also where I get back to religion. Everything is just so confusing, convoluted, and complex and mixed. And what I found interesting with Judas was that when you look at the Bible, from the Old Testament, it says that there will be a Savior that will die, and through his death, all will be saved.
Yeah.
And then whenever you get to the New Testament, you have Jesus that tells Judas to do what you have to do, meaning, I know you're going to betray me, go ahead, just do it.
Yeah.
So my take on it was that God needed a way to have Jesus sacrificed. Judas was that middleman. Judas was predestined, put on this earth to betray Jesus. And through Judas, Jesus was killed, and then through his death, all people were saved.
Yeah.
And so Judas, in my mind, was predestined to commit that betrayal. And I kind of think that works a lot with humans in a way, maybe, that we are predestined. We're all put here for a reason. But then it also completely confuses my current beliefs on what are we doing here? Do we really come from this hot mess of chemicals? Or were we made? And that's where I get so confused. And it's the, I said $1 million question earlier, that's the $1 billion question. And it's one that I'm struggling with right now. That I'm really trying to I'm questioning things and trying to develop answers, but it really just leads to more questions.
Yeah.
So the free will of humans, I don't know. If you look at the Bible, not really. No.
I mean, it's always an interesting philosophical thing to tackle with Judas, especially because, Dante said that, Judas is being chewed up by Satan. But then the Savior wouldn't have died without Judas. And so why is Judas being punished for the thing that saved everyone else?
And that was one of my big questions. I wrote a paper on it, and that I almost think we should hold Judas in a higher regard. Like we have the Saint Mary, and why don't we have a Saint Judas?
Yeah,
because without Judas, we don't really have Jesus' sacrifice. I mean, I hate to say it, but without Judas, you don't have a Jesus.
Yeah,
and to say that, or to be so hateful towards Judas for betraying Jesus, you need to take a step back, look at the big picture, and see that without Judas, none of this would have happened.
Someone had to be just evil enough to do what Judas did. And because Judas was evil enough to do so, that's why the rest of the good exists.
Exactly. And that... When I first talked about it to my parents, they were all like, oh, Judas deserves to be in hell. Like, he was an awful person. And that was before I really looked at it through the scope I am now. And I kind of agreed with them with that if Judas was in fact real, along with everything else, then he was an awful person for betraying Jesus. But then you take a step back, you look at the big picture, and you're like, he was a bad person, but was he, I mean, if Christianity...
In a way, he had to.
Yeah. He caused salvation for everyone.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as bad things go, that's not that bad of a thing.
Yeah.
So.
Dang it. I had a question in mind, but then it, slipped away, at the last second. No. Have you heard of the Gospel of Judas?
Yeah, we actually read, I guess, what is left of the Gospel of Judas before we read the play.
And what did it say? Because I haven't read it personally, but I've just heard about it.
I honestly could not make heads or tails of it. It's unlike anything written in the Bible. It's I hate to say it's an acid trip, but it's weird. It's really weird. You have, I most likely didn't even read it correctly. But it's almost as if there are multiple gods in Christianity. Like, it sounded like it was a polytheistic religion if you just read the Gospel of Judas.
Yeah.
But so much of it is actually lost that a lot of it is interpreted based off context.
Okay.
So whether or not what we're reading is right or wrong, we don't really know. It's just kind of a
good guess.
Yeah, it's a good guess. But I read it a couple times and I couldn't make heads or tails of it. Neither could really anyone in my class. It's didn't make a whole lot of sense to most of us. But
at least, what was Judas's point of view? Did did he want to? Was he evil, or was it like his duty?
Well, it actually wasn't from Judas's point of view. It was more of just a story about Judas, but it didn't really say whether he was in the right or wrong. Really, honestly, he didn't really talk about what he did.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's interesting, but I guess... Okay, so let's say... since you have all of this other science that's convoluting your religion...
Yeah.
Where is heaven for you? Not where, obviously, but like...
About 25 miles up.
Is there a heaven?
Yeah, I don't know. I'd like to think that there is, but at the same time, if you believe in a heaven, you must have to believe in a hell. And I don't like to believe in a hell.
Well, why do you have to believe in a hell if there's a heaven?
I guess you really don't, but you I almost have this preconceived notion that there's a place where good people go and a place where bad people go. But that's where I fight with myself, because there are bad people in the world, but I don't like to think that they all go to hell or they all go to some place where all the bad people go, where they spend eternity suffering. To be a good person and to condone that, I think makes a good person bad. To condone eternal suffering.
Yeah.
I really don't know. I like to think that there is heaven, but whether there is or isn't, I don't know.
I'm pretty sure the notion of the like straight good and straight bad is kind of more derived from whenever you're a young child, and like, you know, the rules are very clear, and it's like, this is good and this is bad. There's no in between. And then the older that you get, it's like, there is kind of an in-between, and then sometimes the in-between leads to good, and sometimes, and that gray area
it gets so much bigger and bigger. Yeah, that's another thing I think is really cool about life, is that as you get older, that gray area just keeps on expanding and expanding and expanding. Before you're long, whatever you're doing, whether you think it's right or wrong, is really just gray.
Yeah.
And
50 Shades of Grey joke. I'm not going to make an actual joke. I'll just say that there's one there.
But, yeah, and I think it's really, to go back to science a little bit, I think it's really interesting in science, because we're now at the point in science where things can be said to be getting blasphemous in a way, especially with regards to stem cell research and cloning technologies, because we really are on set to be able to create life. And honestly, it's incredibly difficult to do it, but it's not impossible. And through technologies we have now, through technologies we're going to advance in the next, 20, 30 years, I foresee that we'll be able to create our own cells. And
it's not out of reach.
No, it's not at all. And I think that's a gray area that we're in right now in science. We can either use this, for more towards the lighter side of the gray, or towards the darker side of the gray.
Or if there even is...
Right. And like I said before, science isn't either immoral or moral. Science is science. It's how you use it. And the next 10, 15 years, how we start using our science is going to determine where we go as a human race.
Yeah.
But yeah, science right now, I think, it's an expanding gray area. Science is getting older and it's becoming more gray.
Yeah.
But it's fascinating. It's great to see where science is going. I mean, who knows? I mean, we're already making tissues or printing tissues.
Yeah.
And it's great. It's fantastic seeing where this is going. So who knows? Before long, we could be making humans.
The presumption of Christianity in heaven or hell also has to make a presumption of the soul. And so once science just goes ahead and makes a human,
is it going to be soulless? Is it going to have a soul?
And that's a real big challenge to just anyone who... Also the clone himself or herself might have a very hard time being treated by people who believe in the soul.
Right. And I think it's weird because we as humans believe that we all have souls. But we don't believe that dogs or cats have souls.
Yeah.
But we all come about the same way. Well, all come about through sexual reproduction, the meeting of sperm and egg, and then the combining of DNA. And from there, you get life. Well, life already was, but you get an organism. Right. And to say that cats and dogs don't have souls, but humans do, I think is it's kind of contrary. Why are we so special to have souls while they don't? And I think that also comes into play with the whole cloning technology and creating life. If we create life, I mean, in essence, we're getting the same end product. Mm-hmm. We might not be getting there the same way, but we're getting there. Mm-hmm. So I guess I don't see why we have souls or why everything doesn't have a soul.
Yeah. Honestly, whenever you do get into like the very like scientific nitty gritty about it, it does kind of break into these giant extremes to where it's like, yes, soul, but everything. In more of like a Japanese Shinto, like the river has a soul and the cat has a soul and everything has a soul, or just going to like the very strict like nothing atheist is like, no, nothing.
Yeah, and I don't know where the gray is in that. So I don't know. It's that's another $1 million question.
And well, it's just interesting to catch you in this point. And because I've been there myself, and I made a podcast about it, if you listened to it already. But that was me talking to the microphone, not you. But it's still a work in progress. It's a work in progress for me too. Do you think at some point there's going to be a right answer, or that you're going to hit some solid ground?
I don't know. I don't know if we'll ever be solid ground. There might be some mushy ground. That's like I think the end goal is to get to mushy ground.
Yeah.
But whether I get to that point, I'm not sure. Would I go back to Christianity? I mean, I don't think I really completely left it as of now. But if I go back to Christianity, fully back to it, I mean, I would have to make changes to how I believe it. There are many things in there I just can't believe. But on the opposite end, leaving Christianity would really untie me from having to believe some of these things, to having to accept some of these things as fact. And so to go back and to believe, I'm sure would give me some sense of peace. At the same time, to go the opposite of the spectrum, I'm sure I would get some peace there too. So right now I'm in the middle ground, trying to determine which one's going to give me more peace, which one's going to allow me to answer more questions, or which one's going to give me more questions. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm not sure.
But would you rather have more questions?
I like questions because questions lead to answers, and answers lead to more questions. And that's how we progress. And I like to progress. Yeah. Staying flat and stagnant is boring. It's not life. Yeah. Life is progressing, and that's what I want to do.
Yeah, I'm not even sure how much time has passed, but I think we've reached the end of this part.
Righty.
Let's at least have plugging things. Twitter. You're on Twitter.
Yeah. I actually don't even know my Twitter.
I'm pretty sure it's at J.
I think it's at JK Brannon, maybe. Let me make sure. I don't want to people to start following. Yeah, it's actually at J Breezy.
J Breezy.
JBREEZZZYY.
3 Z's and 2 Y's.
Right.
Instagram or
yeah, I'm on Instagram too. I have to go to that as well.
That's why you just make the two the same thing.
Right. I'm on Instagram, Jordan K. Brannon, BRANNAN.
See, normally, whenever having people plug things, it's normally like, oh, because, like, support this thing that I'm doing that I need a lot of people for, but you don't actually need a lot of people for. It's more just for, like, it's kind of nice to have people that...
Right. And I occasionally post things to Instagram. I occasionally tweet, but not all that excited.
Yeah. But if you do want someone interesting to head up on Twitter or whatever, Jordan has been a friend of mine for a very long time, and it's interesting because for a while we never got into like very deep conversations anyways until kind of a short while ago that recently. we just fell way into that.
Well into the deep end of the pool.
But interestingly enough, so with all of my really good friends, whenever I stay at their house or whatever, we end up having a really long conversation. That's why I have this podcast, because I really like having these conversations. And so talking to Jeff or John or Z or whatever, what would happen if I would stay at one of their houses or they would stay at one of mine is just we'd probably stay awake until 4 a.m. and be are we still talking?
Right, yeah.
And then we start seeing the sun go up. But then, interestingly enough, it never happened with you.
Yeah.
And I always kind of wanted it to, because I was this is a thing that I always have with awesome friends, and I never got to have it with Jordan. And now I think I get to have it with Jordan.
Yeah.
And so, thank you for listening to the Bit Depth podcast. That's Jordan's stuff. And you can find the rest of my stuff on my website, SantiagoRamones.com. I have 3 things that kind of uphold my religion, and I like to say them at the end of each podcast. I forgot to in the last one. Love never fails. It's going to be okay. I might be wrong. Thank you.